the heart of what we're looking for when we look for organic is something that's clean and grown in harmony with earth. A lot of tea is grown in maybe rural and remote villages. It's with simple people who have had a technique passed down to them for generations to generation. And a lot of them, especially when you're in the right places, maybe they're not using chemicals, but they can't afford an organic certification. Whereas like places that I've been in China, you can literally sometimes see someone washing a vegetable. And then if you ask them why they're doing it, they say, well, now we can sell it as organic. So that's about where a certification coming out of China means. So it doesn't actually, so we like to look a little bit deeper than organic. In the tradition which I was taught, we talk about something called living tea, which is these steps beyond organic certification. You know, and one of the 6 things that we're looking for is free of chemicals and pesticides. So that's only one part of it. You know, seed propagated is super important. You know, like a tea that is grown from a seed, if it is a single trunk tree, can last up to, the oldest one living on earth at the moment is 3,200 years old. If I took a clipping from that tree and planted it, it wouldn't live over 100 years. I've heard farmers say between 30 to 50, you know? So it's hard. And after 2 generations of cutting the clippings, the birds stop eating from the trees. And so there's this loss of life. There's something very special and powerful in a seed. So seed propagated is super important. No irrigation. When you irrigate a plant, you're basically putting an IV into its blood. You're not encouraging the roots to dig down deeper. You're trying to make the growing process easier. But we can't take struggle and suffering out of life. It's those things that actually create stronger plants and stronger people. So no irrigation is really important. Actually, old tea trees have some of the most complicated root systems on earth. I've heard that if you took that 3,200-year-old tree and cut all the roots up into small bits, it would go right around the circumference of the earth. So these roots are reaching down deep into the earth and pulling up trace minerals that we're not getting anywhere else. So super important not to irrigate. Biodiversity is really important. It's a real trend in agriculture to monocrop, you know, and you'll even see pictures of tea farms, and it's these hills with like rows and rows of trees, and we can look at it and be like, wow, that's really beautiful. But actually it might not be beautiful. It might be a whole hilltop of forest that's being cut down and then monocropped. And then a lot of the times the problem is because it's high on the hill, they spray with chemicals and then it leaches down into the water table. One of the biggest mountains tea mountains in Taiwan was just closed down because 6 villages' water table was completely poisoned. Another one's space to grow. You know, like a tree needs space to grow, both upwards and outwards. You know, people will often cut or limit the size of a tree so it's easier to machine process, but giving a tree space so it can grow and express itself naturally has a really powerful effect on the plant. And the last one is the relationship between man and tree, between the farmer and the plant, and that has a huge effect that is kind of almost non-tangible. It's hard to talk about, but it does have an effect. And there's places in Yunnan where you can taste a completely wild tree versus one that has been tended, and you can taste the difference in the tea. You can feel the difference in the tea. So this plant, I mean, as we say, it only has spread how it has spread through humans. This plant and humans have a really deep connection. And so when that's honored, both in the growing and in the preparation and the consumption, then something really magic starts to happen in us.